Today I will be teaching you the difference between both formal and informal English. If you want to visit or work in America, you're definitely going to want to know the difference between both formal and informal English. And I know it can be difficult to figure it out on your own. That's why today I will be giving you all that you need to understand the difference between formal and informal English. Today I will be going over 6 tips for understanding formal and informal English, some formal English vocabulary, and a quiz to test your knowledge. Tip number 1. Remember these formal alternatives to informal English words. Instead of find out, use ascertain. For example, we need to ascertain who to speak to about the issue. Another word you can use instead of find out is determine. We need to determine who to speak with about the issue. Instead of sorry, use I apologize. For example, I apologize for the technical errors. Next, instead of saying I think, say in my opinion. For example, in my opinion, the best course of action to take is... Next, instead of pricey or costly, use expensive. For example, that shipping service may be too expensive for our budget. Instead of let, use permit or allow. For example, would you allow me to sit at this table? Tip number 2, swap formal for informal plurals. Avoid casual words like tons, loads, or heaps. Instead, you can use many, much, and several. For example, a more informal sentence would be, I have tons of books on this subject at home. To make it more formal, you can just say, I have several books of this subject at home. Just that simple switch makes it sound a lot more formal. Tip number 3. Use could and may instead of more informal modals. Modal verbs are a type of helping verbs that often express permission, necessity, or possibility. For example, in the sentence, Tim can direct the project, can is the modal verb, indicating that Tim has permission to direct the project. In English, some modal verbs are actually considered more formal than others. Here are a few examples of that. Instead of can, use could. This is especially important when asking questions. For example, we could make reservations with your clients at the bistro. Or, could I use the restroom? And instead of might, use may. For example, I may schedule a meeting for this Friday depending on her schedule. May is another formal alternative for asking questions with the modal can, or when expressing permission. For example, may I use the restroom please? Or, you may leave work early. We all love to hear that second one, don't we? Tip 4. Avoid abbreviations and short forms. Short forms and abbreviations are usually spelled out fully in formal settings, especially formal written English. And just so you are aware, an abbreviation is a shortened word or phrase. For instance, we say cell phone or mobile phone instead of cell, examination instead of exam, television instead of TV, and photograph instead of pic. A little disclaimer though, this is not a very hard or fast rule. People sometimes say TV or exam in a formal environment simply because they're just so used to saying it, because they've become so adapted as words instead of abbreviations. Some of it is generational, but up to you. For example, could you please repeat your cell phone number? The date of the examination is March 23rd. Spell out common abbreviations like as soon as possible instead of ASAP, and congratulations instead of congrats. For example, could you send me that report as soon as possible? Or congratulations on your new job, Tom. And with coworkers that you're close to, it's totally fine usually to use abbreviations. But with anyone else in your work environment, just avoid them. At the same time, be sure to avoid text speak or internet slang such as LOL or LMAO or OMG! Exclamation point. Instead, you can simply respond with, that's hilarious, or something like that. Tip number 5, write with formal greetings and farewells. Begin with a formal greeting. Use dear plus the name or their title instead of hey or hi, such as dear clients or Dear Critica. And then you can keep it formal and simple when you sign off by writing sincerely. Avoid more informal sign-offs like cheers or best. Should just be simple like sincerely, Dr. Doe. If you are more of a visual person, this last tip is for you. And it is by using FluentU to help you with your formal English. What FluentU does is teach you English with real-world content that's actually used in real life. It uses movie trailers, TV shows, talk shows, and more. This can really help you notice what contexts both formal and informal English are used in. You can learn formal English using videos like How to Kickstart Innovative Thinking and Building a $1 billion business. And for more informal English, you can watch videos of the Ellen DeGeneres Show and various movie clips and trailers. I have a link for you in the description box below where you can get a free trial of FluentU. So go on there and practice your formal and informal English. Now let's go over everything we've talked about so far with a quick quiz. First, fill in the blank of this sentence with the correct formal modal. Second, what is wrong with this sentence? The answer is that it should be it is instead of it's, and have not instead of haven't. Everything else is correct. Let me know how you did on the quiz. And if you're liking this video so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let us know. Now let's go over some more English vocabulary that may be more formal than others. First, we have incorrect. And incorrect is a more formal way to say the word wrong in English. So if you're in a more formal situation and you want to say, I think it is wrong, say, I believe it may be incorrect, to make it sound more formal. Now remember, when we look at this sentence here, we have no abbreviations. We're using the modal verb may, which makes it sound more formal. And then we're using incorrect instead of wrong. Now we have at first. And do you think it's a more formal phrase or a less formal phrase? This might be hard to figure out, but it is actually informal, or less formal, I might say. In a formal situation, I would personally replace it with initially. So in formal situations, say something like, initially the project got rejected, instead of at first the project got rejected. Next we have fortunate, and fortunate is a more formal word to say instead of lucky. So instead of saying I'm lucky to be here, say something like I feel so fortunate to be here. It sounds a lot more formal that way. Next we have think about, and think about is, I would say, more of an informal word. Can you think of another word to replace it to make it sound more formal? One word you can replace it with is consider, and this is very common in a lot of business settings. An example of consider used in a sentence could be, I hope you can consider accepting the position we are offering you. Next we have terminate, and this is a fancy, more formal word to replace the word end. A lot of the times in business situations, you will hear this word mostly when people are talking about a contract, more specifically, ending a contract. For example, I need this contract terminated. Or, if you want to terminate this contract, you're going to have to go through me. Next we have express, and express is a more formal word to replace say. For example, perhaps you're in a work meeting. Your boss might say something like the following: I would like to express my thanks for everyone who came on time to the meeting today. Next we have assist, and this is another word that you will commonly hear in formal situations instead of the word help. For example, maybe someone just got hired at your workplace. Your boss might tell you something like this: could you assist him with any questions he may ask? Next we have demonstrate, which is a more formal word to replace show. For example, could you demonstrate how the new product works? Another example is, this report demonstrates the importance of expanding our audience. Let's do one more quiz to review this vocabulary. First, use one of the following words to make this sentence sound more formal. Second, change the underlined word to the more formal version of the word. And finally, fill in the blank with the formal word. Great job, guys! Let me know in the comments how well you did on the quizzes in this video. Now, I have a present for you guys. I created a free PDF of this video just for you with all the tips and all the vocabulary that I went through. You can download it in the description below. Now, I have part 2 of this lesson that you are going to love. I go over 17 English words that will make you sound smarter. It's a great video and I think you will really enjoy it.